Hi everyone, I'm Yuta Holt and I'm in the studio of Ecole Holt Couture. Today I want to talk to you about scissors and shears and my recommendations, which ones you will need for the programs or just for dressmaking in general. So I'm going to be showing you a variety of scissors and shears that we have here in the studio that have been collected over the years. Some are well over 60 years old and some are newer. And the best piece of advice that I can give you is look for scissors that are one material. In other words, they're not mixed with plastic and metal. And that the metal is hardened steel. You'd think, well, what isn't hardened steel? There are some steels that are harder than others, and it's in the processing, and it's reflected in the cost of the scissors themselves. If you get Japanese made scissors, they take great pride in their scissor making techniques, so they will be a good quality. Germany is another country that takes good pride in making their hardened steel. So I'm just saying that the better the steel, the better the quality of the scissors, the more expensive of course they're going to be, but they are a once in a lifetime purchase. You never need buy another pair of scissors if you take very good care of them. Now, what is the difference between scissors and shears? So shears are much larger and scissors are smaller, and the technical definition here is the term shears is used to describe a cutting tool that is longer than 6 inches with double ground edges and 2 different sized finger holes. So those are shears. And the term scissors is used when describing a cutting tool that is less than 6 inches. Today I will show you the difference between scissors and shears. These are all considered to be scissors. These are all scissors, but these are specifically scissors, and these larger ones here are shears, very large. These scissors we use for sewing, for snipping threads, for cutting fabric, and they're all roughly the same size. Some are a little bit shorter than the others. How they measure them is the distance between the fulcrum and the edge of the cutting area. So these are the blades and these are the handles. And scissors are typically designed with 2 smaller loops to put your fingers through and to manipulate them like this. Now in dressmaking you'll often find us using the scissors in this fashion to cut threads and to snip threads at the end. It's just much quicker and handy. Now you'll see that these are all wrapped with red ribbon. That's just to label them that they're part of the school scissor collection. And here is another pair of scissors or shears. These are 7-inch, and these are made in Italy. I don't even know what the name of them are. Oh, there we are. You can see the name. These are quite old, and they've been in the collection for at least 60 years, and they're still in good condition. If you take good care of your scissors, they will be in good condition. Now there's another pair of 7-inch scissors, and as I open and close them, when I get to this point here, there's some resistance, and that resistance is regulated with the screw that holds these 2 cutting blades together. That's the scissor action. And some brands of scissors, this one is Dovo, are a little bit better quality than the others. They will last and they will be much sharper for much longer. So they have a small hole and a large hole to put your fingers through and double fingers there. So shears we typically use for cutting out fabric when it's on the table from a pattern. Now these two are roughly the same size, but they are different in shape here at the tips, here and here. You can see that they have a cutting area roughly the same. And the ones that we like to work with, they have a pointy blade and one that's rather rounded. Now there is a reason for that as well, which I will get into. And these ones have a similar nose on them. And these are the very old pair. And again, they look slightly different, but they serve the same purpose, more for cutting out fabric. Now these are scissors, and we've gone through that. Shears I will talk about now. Now shears are very large scissors that tailors use mostly, but we also use them, and that is for cutting out fabric on the table. Now these are very old. You can see that the metal has remained dark. They were dark to begin with, and the screw and the nut here are slightly adjustable, and you can see they're made for much larger hands. I can get my thumb through and all of my 4 fingers. Now to open them all the way you have to have quite large hands. So they do work for men, which were typically tailors in the past. Now these are even larger, and they are so large that I can't work them properly. They're just too big for me to operate them properly. So that's something to watch out for, that when you buy the shears, which has a much longer cutting blade, that the hole and for your thumb and for your fingers is not oversized. It should be your size. Now here are another pair that are much more my sized. These ones actually have a lock on them to keep them closed. It's a spring action lock. And these are spring loaded. So they will open all on their own, and it saves a bit of energy when you're cutting fabric. All you need to do is squish the 2 blades together or depress the 2 blades, and it will spring back. And the reason for this lock is to keep them closed. Then we also have another pair of shears, and these have plastic handles. I don't like plastic handles as a rule because they do break off. These are left-handed scissors. So if you are left-handed, typically they do make scissors and shears for left-handed individuals. These smaller scissors are called embroidery scissors. They have very, very short cutting blades, and they're very sharp. At the tip here you can see they're very, very sharp. And these ones are shaped like a bird, so it's a bit of a novelty, but they do work. But these are also embroidery scissors, and you can see that the tips are very, very sharp. And that is so you can get very close to your work and be very precise about where you're cutting the threads. Now there are other scissors available. Everything that I've showed you so far is for fabric. Now I will show you paper scissors. And these are a pair of scissors. You can see they had plastic handles. And now you can see why I don't like plastic handles, because after a few years the plastic dries out and it breaks off and renders the scissors useless. Here's another pair of scissors. Now these are very inexpensive, and you can get them at your local craft shop. Now the reason that we have them is for cutting paper. The other scissors that I've showed you so far were specifically for fabric, and we reserve these especially for paper. So never mix your fabric scissors with your paper scissors. Here's another couple of novelty scissors. These are embroidery scissors, but they're for traveling, and they fold away, and there you are. You can use them for traveling. I'll put them in your travel pack if you just plan to be traveling and you need a pair of scissors just to cut labels out of things that you buy, or if you need to sew a button on. Now these scissors are a little bit different looking, and they were designed to cut the slits open in a buttonhole. So the fabric would come through here, and the area that not to be cut was kept in there, and you can cut just the slice for the buttonhole. Now they're not absolutely necessary, and we do use the other scissors for the same purpose, but they are a bit of a novelty item. There's another pair of scissors that are a bit of a novelty. Okay, so this sort of snaps into place, and you can use them just for cutting threads, and then they hold into place and they have a shield. Again, they're good for traveling, but what works better and has the same action is this. So we kind of hold the scissors and manipulate the blades between our thumb and the rest of our fingers. Scissors do come in packages as well. You don't have to buy them singly. This one is a set of 3. We have the embroidery scissors, we have your regular scissors, and we have shears. Now these are a little on the small side, but they're very effective, and this carrying case actually protects the scissors as well. So, and you can buy them singly or you can buy them in sets. Another nifty box. These come out in collections year after year. They have different enameled handles, and they're very well put in there. But these are also very good quality scissors, and they have the rounded nose and the pointed end, and it also comes with a shield to protect your scissors when not in use. Here's another type of case for the same brand of scissors, but you can see that, if I can get them out of there, they're both pointy. I don't like these as much. They're not quite as useful, but they are, to be fair, labeled as craft scissors, not dressmaking scissors. But they're, on the whole, a good brand. Okay, so those are the different types of scissors. One other that I almost forgot, these are a pair of scissors too, and they have a zigzag cut edge, or it will cut a zigzag edge. Now you do see these type of scissors in craft stores with different types of profile for cutting paper, for craft paper. These are designed for cutting fabric, and you have to be very, very careful when you use these. They do dull very quickly and almost impossible to sharpen. Now all of your scissors can be sharpened, but you have to be aware of those who do sharpen your scissors, because they can ruin your scissors as well. So I will go through these individually. These scissors are sharpened, and they're well sharpened. As you can see when I close them, that there's no gap, you can't see light between them, and they too close right to the tip. Now these scissors have been damaged in the sharpening. They don't close entirely. There's always a gap there. As with these, I don't know if you can see it, but this end is now longer than this end, and they don't close at the same place, which has damaged them. And these ones have also been damaged in the sharpening. As you can see, that the tip has been ground away, and so has this, and they don't meet very well. And they were good scissors for 60 plus years, and until they were sharpened and ruined, now they are no longer as useful. So we use our paper scissors for cutting card and paper. This is card that we sometimes use to make master patterns. And if you just use them for paper and not for cloth, that is identified with the plastic handles in our school. Now here is some fabric. It's an unbleached cotton. It's very inexpensive, and we sometimes refer to it as muslin. We use it to make our toiles, and it is very, like I said, it's inexpensive, and it's when you're cutting your fabric, you can see, you can hear it, you can see it, that the fabric is rather coarse. And when I cut on the table, you can see this is pointy end and the round end. I turn them upside down so that the rounded edge slides or glides along the tabletop. If I used the pointy end, I would easily cut into my cutting surface as well. So I can flip them and use this as kind of like a ski. It kind of skips across the table. Okay. This is a wool twill fabric. You'll find out more about the fabric itself. However, I'm going to show you with these shears. Now these are very, very sharp. You should be able to cut through the fabric very cleanly without any effort and have a nice clean edge, cut edge. This is a typical wool suiting. So I will show you with these shears to cut the wool suiting how lovely it feels, like cutting through tissue or butter even. That's how sharp they are. Okay. Now I also have a silk georgette fabric, shear, and to use very, very sharp scissors is important to get a clean cut. Without lifting the fabric off the table, it doesn't move. Now if I were to use paper scissors on the georgette, these might still be sharp enough. However, there's much more resistance because this edge has been worn away through the cellulose fiber that is paper, and it dulls the blades very, very quickly. Okay, you need a pair of scissors and a pair of shears. This size is good. This size you'll use, but not as often. You'll use these the most. You'll use these and these less frequently. Pinking shears, we rarely ever use them in the courses. Let me just cut a piece here. You can see that it cuts a jagged edge, and why we use it I will go into in another video. It is very nice to have a pair of embroidery scissors, however not essential. You can get away with 2 pairs of scissors. And always, always, always when you're using them, never leave them on the table open. Always have them closed, because many of fabric has been damaged. Just brushing over an open pair of scissors has damaged some very expensive fabric. Those are the scissors. Now, how much do they cost? You can get them in Canada, in our area. These scissors will roughly sell for about $45 to $50 for a good pair of scissors. However, you can spend as much as $100 for each one of these scissors. If you do, I will just say that you do get what you pay for. It is in the quality of the metal. If it's a better quality metal, the edge is much, much stronger, much harder steel, and it doesn't dull quite as quickly. We don't need to sharpen our scissors very often, perhaps once every 5 or 6 years if you use them carefully. However, you must be careful not to cut into a pin. If you cut into a pin or over a pin, it damages the blade immediately and it causes a nick in this edge. And these scissors have had nicks in them and they have been ground away, but then it also reduces the effectiveness of the scissors. So just be careful how you use your scissors. So I hope that's helped you make a decision on what pair of scissors and shears you'll need. You really only need 2. You need a pair of scissors and you need a good pair of shears. Everything else is luxury. You can do without the rest. However, scissors is kind of like shoes to dressmakers. You can't just have one pair. We seem to buy them because we like them and we have our favorites for different things. Thanks for tuning in and hope to see you again. Don't forget to subscribe to Ecole Haute Couture. Thanks. Bye for now.